So I'm going to do this video, and I struggled with it because I only have a short amount of time with this watch. And it is, of course, my good friend Michael's new to him PAM00111, or the PAM00111. Everyone calls it the PAM111. I mean, you got to like kind of shorten these things up a little bit when you're talking about them, because you have to get extremely descriptive if you're going to watch nerd talk about Panerai, because there's so many different models and variants of every model. This is the Luminor Marina PAM00111, right? So, but if you're talking to somebody that kind of knows Panerai, it's just the PAM111, and that'll shorten it up a bit. There are so many models. I'm still learning. Mostly, I'm actually just researching the models. I'm not even like learning really about the brand or the watches quite yet. There's tons of people out there that have shared that information, whether in forums or in YouTube videos. So if you're looking for that type of information, this is not your video. I am going to just kind of show you the watch, talk about my likes with the watch, and then I'm going to do some comparisons with other watches that you might be familiar with. But those are going to be, some might take value in those, but the issue with doing that is I don't think you can really compare any other watch to Panerai. Like when you put one of these on the wrist, it just works. Like, I don't care what your wrist size is. There's guaranteed there's a Panerai that will work for you. First of all, they have quite a variety now, but in the more traditional form, like this one, at least from my, paying attention to the brand, is like a 44 mil. There's much larger ones for sure, and then more currently, there's smaller ones. But this 44 is like the sweet spot for this K shape and for this brand. So I know my buddy Michael, Desire68 YouTube channel, link in the description. He spent quite a bit of time doing the rabbit hole searching sort of thing that us watch enthusiasts and many other hobbies are kind of known for. And it might not be where he thought he was going to land. There was a lot of different models he was looking at. The 177 was one that both him and I were looking at. It's basically this watch, but kind of in a titanium platform. It has this movement and everything. But there's a lot of different titanium ones, just like even the current ones. There's carbon fiber and all this other stuff. So this one's all stainless steel. And I'm going to give you my measurements, because everyone says it's 44, but what I think they're doing is they're measuring in traditional from here to here, because you have this large crown guard here. So I measured from here to here, sneaking my caliper kind of just inside there. And I measured at 43.5 from side to side, which you don't normally grab that measurement. You grab here to here diagonally. But anyway, it's 43.5 or 44, whatever you want to call it. It's right there. Now the lug to lug is going to be where some people might struggle. It's 53 millimeter, but it still just wears great. I mean, it's going to look like a large watch on your wrist. It is a large watch. So, but it's supposed to. But I'll tell you this, it's extremely comfortable on your wrist. Whether you get a stainless steel variant like this or a titanium one. I've tried on some titanium ones. I haven't tried on some earlier produced titanium ones. I'm excited to do that. So I'm narrowing down some of my options. When I say this, I'm strongly considering picking up a Panerai. I don't know, maybe next year. I know this is early 2025. I'm in no rush. And I think that's important when you're looking at Panerai. Do not be in a rush. I think you should be very calculated with your purchase and make sure you buy the seller. If you're not educated enough on spotting non-authentic Panerai, then make sure you get somebody that does know how to tell. Because you can look at the simplicity of the watch overall, and you could clearly, come to the conclusion that these would be not difficult to, pull one over on somebody. So I don't want that to happen to anybody. I don't want, and it might, you got to think too, that I don't want to get too much on the soapbox on this, but you might get a watch from somebody that thinks they have an authentic watch, and it might be like 2 or 3 people removed from the deceitfulness of it, and they might have credibility, and they still could be fooled. So that's what I'm saying, is that there has to be tells on this. I don't know what they are, but you have to work with somebody that does know. That's my point. Anyway, back to the measurements. 44, 53. The thickness on this is 15 millimeter. You can see you have a single domed sapphire crystal, and then you have this massive 24. I shouldn't say it that way. It's a 24 millimeter lug opening. It's not massive. That's actually the correct size for this platform. And then the crown is 9.85 millimeter. It's a monster. Kind of sticks out there. And I made a mistake, and you guys corrected me, and I asked you to teach, help me learn a little bit about the brand. I had wound this in the locked position. So this little lever here, it pushes the chamfered bit of the crown stem into the gasket, and that's what holds the 300 meter water resist. You don't need to screw it down like a screw down crown on another higher resisted watch. Rather, it's all done in its design. Now you can do that, like I did it. It'll allow you to do it. That's the problem. If you don't know, like I didn't know, I was able to do it. Now, it's probably fine. This one has had a service not that long ago. But if there's an issue with that gasket, I could have compromised it or damaged it. So if you're going to wind it, or anytime you're going to mess with the crown, basically just pull this lever back, which is quite satisfying. It's a very simple mechanism. It literally is just pivoted there, and it pushes the crown, and it puts that cone part of the stem in and seats it into the gasket. And when you pull that back, you can see the crown move a little bit. Now you can wind it. This is the safe part to wind it, because you're not messing with that gasket. So thank you guys for educating me. And then for setting the time, you literally just pop it out. And because it's such a large crown and it's thin, the meat of your fingers, it's completely easy to do that. And then of course you can just set your time. And it's butter smooth. Yes, this movement is very similar, or it's based off from the ETA 6497. You can clearly tell that by looking at it, but it has some work done to it, because it has an extended power reserve and it's chronometer grade. It is COSC. The power reserve on it is 56 hour. And then of course you can see it's decorated. So it's not the base 6497. It is definitely, it's a luxury watch. I mean, these were not inexpensive watches, and they're still not inexpensive watches. These PAM00111s are roughly $4,000 a snapshot in time. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go up or down or whatever. I have no idea the market on Panerai, how it functions, but it is what it is. This watch should be circa 2008. And like I said, it's already had a service on it. So new gasket, go through the movement, and it should be good to go. This is a sandwich dial variant. There are printed dials, but again, I don't know what everybody goes after. I don't take that data. I don't really research that, but I can tell you that I would prefer the sandwich dial. So I'm already looking at, the same circa in titanium, same era, 2000s, early 2000s, or push a little bit newer, and I could go with the P 5000 or 2000, whatever those movements are. I still need to do my homework on those. I could go automatic or manual, but if I probably kind of want to go manual, which would be an 8-day manual wind movement, which would be perfect if it makes the watch thinner. I don't know if it does, because this one's 15. For example, the PAM1351 is titanium with a day automatic. That's 15.7 millimeter thick. So I don't know that I want to go thicker. It wears good even with the thickness, but I still don't know if I want to go thicker. So a little bit of show prep. I watched Evan from Your Terrific YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that video down below as well. He has a had, I don't know if he sold it, but he has or had a PAM111, and he did a great video on it. So watch that video if you already haven't. But he did mention in his video that he personally sent his out for service to Panerai, and the fee for a full service on it was $520. I don't have a problem with that. I know it's still a healthy chunk of change. Like you could buy a watch for $520, but this is, like I said, it's a luxury watch, and it does two things. One, it kind of authenticates it, which hopefully you don't have to be concerned about that if you purchased it correctly, but it refreshes it, guarantees 300-meter water resist, and then it refreshes the movement. The Lume on this is incredible. All the Panerais I've handled is incredible. Before we get to the Lume, though, I want to show you a side-by-side of some watches. I know I went super long on this video, but I'm trying to offer a different viewpoint of the watch. So here it is with a Doxa Sub 300. And I'm trying to hold them at the same plane just so you have some idea. Now, man, my battery's already low on this thing. Recording in 4K kills your battery. Here it is next to a Visitor dive watch, roughly the same size, but the dial presentation is going to be bigger on the Panerai. SKX, there you go. Okay, just throwing these in the background. Here's a Seiko Tuna, SBBN Tuna, another big bulbous type watch. Seiko Turtle, maybe you have one of those. There would be a side-by-side representation. And then of course the watch that I've been wearing the most is the Tudor left-hand drive Pele in titanium. So there you go. Now let's do that Lume shot. I did not need to charge that. I probably shouldn't even have done that because I'm barely into low light and this thing is already like, let's do this. I want to show off. Yeah, the Panerais, at least the sandwich dial ones like this, are absolutely show off type Lume. That's the level of Lume it is. For example, here's that SBBN Tuna, which is notorious for having insane Lume. The Panerai is honestly probably better. So anyway, thanks Michael for letting me check this out. Thank you guys for watching. I know I went super long. Hopefully this will help you decide to get one or don't get one, or just, I don't know, rabbit hole search a different watch that I showed. I'll see you guys in the next one.